Hey there, gamers. Welcome back to Hauppauge Gaming. I'm Fallinfrog, and it's time for another tip of the week. I'm not as prepared this week as I normally am. Usually I know what topic I'm going to do a little bit in advance. This week, though, I actually moved my setup around. I just moved some things in my office and got reorganized a little bit. And when I hooked my computer back up, I ran into some microphone issues. My microphone kept disconnecting itself or becoming unrecognized, even though Windows wasn't telling me that the device wasn't recognized anymore. It was just, for whatever reason, the microphone would stop working after a couple of minutes. I've since solved this issue, but there was, I went through a bunch of troubleshooting and just trying to solve the issue. So that's my tip this week. I'm just gonna help you guys with, troubleshooting your audio for, your microphone. If you're trying to do commentary, that's one of the most aggravating things. If you get a brand new game and you're ready to record and you're just ready to play, right? And boom, as soon as you hit record or you're about to hit record, you notice something is not working. What's wrong? My settings worked last time I used it. How come they're not working right now? Really got to me this week. So I actually didn't even get the microphone issue fixed until earlier today. How did I do it? Basically, I've got kind of 3 tips just for how to go about troubleshooting, what you're going to want to look for. Before we get started, I do have a Blue Snowball Pro. That's the microphone that I'm using. That's what I'm using right now to talk to you guys. Although I have 3 microphones hooked up to my computer, but that's the one that I'm talking about. That's what I'm referring to today. This isn't necessarily Blue Snowball specific as far as a tip. This will go with any of your any USB microphone that you've got hooked up to your computer. These are just general things to look for if you're running into issues. First, we're going to come over to my desktop, and if you come over here to your system tray, you'll see the your speakers icon, for your volume settings. What you can do is right click on that little speaker icon, and it's going to bring up this box. It's got your volume mixer, playback devices, which would be like your speakers, or if you have an audio system set up, recording devices, which is going to be for your microphones and headsets. That's the one that we're going to look at today. You've also got just your general sound settings, and then you can also troubleshoot your audio problems. So, that's going to be the first place you're going to want to check is inside your system icons, just to look at, if you make sure your computer is actually recognizing your microphone. So we're going to go into recording devices, and we're going to see this. You'll notice I've got 3 microphones hooked up. I've got my Astro headset is the top one, which you can see it's really picking up my voice really well, although that's not the microphone I'm using for this video. I'm using my Blue Snowball, which is also being recognized now as well. And then we've got the HD Pro Webcam C920, which is just the microphone that's built into my webcam. You'll notice I have that selected as a default device. I do that because oftentimes I will use the Xbox app I'm on Windows 10, so I'll use the Xbox app. Or also Skype to record group conversations. So I want my group conversations, I want my buddies to be able to hear me through Skype or the Xbox app. So it'll be using the webcam microphone. And then I use I still have to use my Blue Snowball for OBS when I'm recording the gameplay. So it's basically, I use that for my communications so they can talk to me and stuff. And I always just manually select my Blue Snowball within OBS. If you're having audio issues, just come over to this screen and make sure that the microphone is actually picking up your volume. I can see here by looking at the bars that all 3 of those go green every time I start speaking. But I can see that they're all working. So the issue I was having this weekend was my Blue Snowball never once did Windows tell me that this device is not recognized. I never heard that USB desyncing sound, that boom, 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 that you hear. You hear that whenever you unplug like a USB device or something gets unrecognized. That wasn't happening. There was no errors popping up or anything. It was just literally after a few seconds, the microphone stopped working. So the first thing I did, I would come into this screen and I would just check and see, oh, yep, my microphone's not working. So how do we go about fixing that? Just make sure you have it selected. You can right click and go to properties, or you can just have it selected and click the properties button. Doesn't matter. And then you want to go over to the levels tab. Now this is where we can check the actual volume of our microphone. So you might find that your microphone is set all the way down to 0. Now I think you can actually still hear me a little bit, even though I have it set all the way down to 0. but you'll notice my volume's a lot lower now than it was. It's probably harder to hear me. So we'll bring this back up to where it was, and you probably noticed a difference there. Before I actually got the Blue Snowball, I had a previous microphone that every single time I would try to use it, just anytime I started using the, if I get ready to start a stream with OBS, I would have to come in here and manually set that to 100. And then within just a matter of minutes, after I go back to OBS or I go back to XSplit, I start playing my game, I've fixed it, everything's fine. Within a matter of minutes, it would default set itself back to 24. And I'd have to go in and change it. It was a nightmare. I never got that issue fixed, so instead I just sucked it up, cut my losses, and upgraded my microphone to the Blue Snowball, which I love. I love my Blue Snowball. It hasn't done me wrong yet. It's a great microphone, so sometimes you might have faulty hardware. You might have hardware that just conflicts with the programs you're using or what setup you have. It's a whole mixed bag. This is a good place to start checking. So if your microphone is being recognized by your computer, if you do have your volume levels set, something else that you may want to try, if you have another USB port available, give it a shot. Move your microphone to a different USB port, bring it up. If you have to restart your computer, bring up your programs again, try it from a new port. I will tell you that that's what solved my issue. My Blue Snowball this weekend, when I hooked everything back up, it didn't go back into the same port it was. I don't even know if it's in the same port it was before I had moved everything. But once I moved it, I set it back up. I just plugged it in, tried to start using it, and I just kept running into this error where it just wouldn't pick up my voice. I moved it to a different USB port. I've been testing it all day. I've had it just at various times whenever I've had an opportunity, made sure to have OBS open, and I would just, even if I wasn't doing a recording or anything, I would leave it open and just make sure that green bar kept swaying and made sure that it didn't disconnect itself in a matter of seconds. The issue has been fixed. So sometimes it's as simple as that. The last thing I would say, just to try, would be to come over here to your General tab and click on Properties. And this is where you're going to find your driver information. So you can come over to the driver tab to find your driver details. If you need to, you can update your driver, roll back your driver. You can go to, I use Blue Snowball, so I can go to Blue's website, re-download drivers, download the latest drivers. Sometimes you could do that and it'll fix an issue. It might fix a known issue that anybody who's, trying to use a microphone with a particular program or a particular operating system might be running into this issue, so it might be fixed. You never know until you try. So if you're running into issues, these are the 3 best things you can try. Definitely check your microphone levels within your sound settings. Try a different USB port if you have one available. That's what worked for me, so could be something as simple as that. You never know. Even restarting your computer, just try a restart and see if that fixes the issue. If it doesn't, then maybe try moving it to a different USB port. Check your driver details. If you need to, update your driver. That's my best piece of advice as far as trying to troubleshoot your microphones. It can definitely be very frustrating when, especially if you're on a schedule, if you're supposed to be streaming, if you have a deadline and you have projects that you need to work on. It can happen at any time. You could have everything is in working order all week long, and then the weekend hits, and then for some reason, one program updated in the background, or you moved your desk and you plugged it into a USB port, and whatever reason, things don't want to work and they cause you a headache. So that's where I would start. If you are having issues, start there. And then if you have any other issues, if you're having a problem with it and it's too much and you don't know, leave a comment. Maybe someone from the community will be able to help. It's great to reach out. If you guys have any questions or comments, though, do leave those below as well. Any suggestions you want to see me talk about next week, I'm all ears. Let me know. And with that being said, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.